In my last video, I did an unboxing and first impressions of this Zhiyun Weebill S gimbal. I have been using this gimbal with my Canon M6 Mark II and my Sigma 18 to 35mm lens, and in this video I'm going to show you what this gimbal does, how you stabilize it, how many modes there are on this gimbal, and some test shots that I have done with this gimbal. And at the end of the video I will give you my opinion on this Zhiyun Weebill S gimbal. Coming up. Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Roger, and on this channel we talk about cameras, tech gear and videography. And if this is something that you're interested in, hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell. Then you will get a notification every time I come out with a new video. The Zhiyun Weebill S gimbal. This is a 3-axis stabilizer, or a 3-axis gimbal stabilizer. But maybe not all of you know what a 3-axis gimbal stabilizer is, or what it does, or what 3 axes are there. So the first thing I want to do in this video is explain to you what those 3 axes are, what they are called and how they work. And for those of you that already know this, you can skip to this time in the timeline and we will move on from there. And the 3 axes that this gimbal stabilizes is 1, the tilt or pitch axis, which is the up and down axis. The second one is the roll axis, which is this one. And the third and last one is called yaw or pan axis, which is left to right. So these are the 3 axes: the up and down, the roll, and the left to right axis. And you might have noticed that I called the 2 of these axes by 2 different names. That's because the first one, the tilt axis, the name tilt is known by the cinematographers out there in the world, but by gimbal users this is also called the pitch axis. So there are 2 names for the same axis. And the roll axis, I don't know if this axis has 2 names, I couldn't find it, but the roll axis, as far as I know, only have 1 name. Then the third one is called yaw, Y-A-W, or pan. It might be a little bit confusing, but now you know the different names of the different kind of axes that a 3-axis gimbal stabilizes. So let's go over to how you balance this Zhiyun Weebill S. This is the second gimbal that I have ever tried out. The first one I tried was the DJI Ronin SC. The DJI Ronin SC, I had a lot of difficulty balancing it. It was shaking, it was a nightmare. I sat with it for several hours and I couldn't get it stabilized. Might have been my own fault. I'm not blaming DJI. A lot of people use the DJI Ronin SC and are very happy with it, but I couldn't get it to work. But with this Zhiyun Weebill S, I mean, it's just so easy. The first thing you have to do is mount this quick release plate onto your camera and then place your camera onto the gimbal like this and twist this so it doesn't fall off. The first axis you want to balance is the up and down axis, or the tilt or pitch axis, like we just learned that it's also called. So if the camera tilts forward, you have to loosen this and you have to balance it. Find the place where it doesn't fall backwards or forward, and this looks like it's kind of is the right spot. So let's tighten this. So now we have this stabilized. It doesn't fall forward and it doesn't fall backwards, but it's not totally stabilized, because if I turn it, it falls back, and if I push it forward, it falls forward. And to balance that axis, we have to point the lens up, and then we have to twist this lock on the side here, and we have to push the camera forward or backwards, and there are micro adjustments to get this balanced. And when you find the point where you can place your camera and it doesn't move, then the gimbal is balanced on that axis. Now, the second axis is the roll axis. If the camera turns this way, we have to move the camera further out to the left, or if it turns that way, you have to move the camera the other way. So you always have to move the camera the opposite way of the way that it turns. So, as you can see, this camera, no matter where I place it, it is balanced. And the second axis is the yaw, or the pan axis, and to balance that axis, you lift up your gimbal, you turn it this way, and the camera is not supposed to fall either down or up. Could possibly be a little bit better, so let's try and move it slightly, and like I said, micro adjustments. And like that, it doesn't move anymore, and now the gimbal is balanced. Now, for the last week, I have tried this gimbal, I've tested it out. I did film a small video with this gimbal and this camera and this lens. Now, this short video that I filmed is about how important your physical health is when you are in a line of work where you need to care for others. For those of you that don't know, my profession or my full-time job is being a nurse at the 911 Central here in my hometown, but I have also been working in an ambulance for the last 15 years. So I had a colleague of mine, Benedicta, step up this weekend, and the point of the video was to show how important it is to take care of your own health to be able to execute the kind of work that you are supposed to do, because a lot of the movements, a lot of the things that you have to do in an ambulance are the same kind of movements that you can do in a gym. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk anymore about it. I'm gonna show you the video now. It's 50 seconds long, nothing much, and yeah, here you go. Now, this video is not the best video to show how good the gimbal are stabilizing the footage, because I had a lot of small cuts, and yeah, you don't see how good the image is stabilized in these small cuts. And my experience as I was filming it is that this gimbal did a good job stabilizing the footage. But I also thought it would be interesting to see how good this gimbal is to stabilize the footage if someone that's never used a gimbal before is going to try it for the first time. So let's check that out. Now, since I think that this gimbal is really easy to use, I thought it would be interesting to see how it is for a person that's never touched a gimbal before, how easy it is for that person to use this gimbal. And for this experiment, I think my wife would be a perfect subject for that test. So here is my wife. She's now she is going to use this gimbal. She's going to follow me with this gimbal. I have no digital image stabilization on the camera. It's only the gimbal that's doing the stabilization. So let's see. And she has not been trained in how to walk with the gimbal or anything. This is the first time she's holding the gimbal. She don't know how heavy it is either, so here you go.
Okay.
Is it okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's turn the camera on. what we now are going to do, I am going to walk from this spot right here and over to that wall over there, and she's going to follow me. Now the gimbal is in pan follow mode. Let's see how this goes. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. So that's how the gimbal stabilizes the camera when it's used by someone that's never used it before. So how do you think that it looked? I haven't seen the footage yet, so I hope it looks okay. But yeah, that was the test. As I'm filming this video, or this part of this video, I haven't seen the footage that my wife shot just yet, but I hope it looks okay. But what I thought I was going to do is going to talk about the different kind of modes that this gimbal has when you are filming. So the first mode that the gimbal has when you turn it on is the pan follow mode. This is the default mode that the gimbal has when you turn the gimbal on, and this is also the default mode that the gimbal turns back to when you go out of the other modes. So the pan follow mode, it follows when you turn your hand left or right, but it remains steady when it comes to the up and down or pitch or tilt axis. So this, you have the camera totally stable at the level of the horizon, and when you turn your camera it doesn't turn up and down. So this is the default mode on the gimbal. On the side of the gimbal you have a button that you can turn down. This puts the gimbal in a locked mode. That means that wherever the camera was pointing at when you put the gimbal in the lock mode, that is the place that the camera is going to stay when you move the gimbal. And to exit the lock mode, you just turn this button up, and now you're in the default pan follow mode. The third mode on the gimbal is called the POV mode, or the point of view mode. To enter the point of view mode, press the point of view button once, and now you're in the point of view mode. In this mode, wherever you turn your gimbal, the camera will follow, and all the axes on the gimbal will move as you move the gimbal. You can access the point of view mode by pressing the trigger in the front here twice. The fourth mode on the gimbal is follow mode. To enter the follow mode, you just hold the trigger in front and the gimbal is now in follow mode. What's different from follow mode and POV mode is that on follow mode, the roll axis of the gimbal is locked. You cannot roll the camera like you did in the POV mode. If you want to stay in follow mode and don't have to push the trigger button in the front, you can hold the trigger button and then press the LV button 3 times to lock it in. Exit the follow mode either by releasing the trigger in the front, if that's what you're using to get into follow mode, or if you have locked the camera or gimbal in follow mode, you just press the LV button 3 times to exit the follow mode. The fifth mode on the camera is a go mode, or a fast mode. To enter the go mode, you just press the FN button at the top on the handle and you are in go or fast mode. If you want to lock the gimbal in the fast mode, you do as you did in the follow mode. You just hold the FM button and then press 3 times on the LV button. Now we are in go or fast mode. The go or fast mode responds on quick movements on all 3 axes. So this mode could be great if you're going to film sports, fast action, or kids running, cars driving by. You can just move the gimbal and the gimbal will follow. To exit the fast mode, release the FN button if that's the way you're entering the fast mode, or click 3 times on the LV button if you have locked in the fast mode. Mode number 6 on this gimbal is the vortex mode, or inception mode as it's also called. You enter the inception mode by clicking the POV button 2 times. That turns the camera up and now you're in the inception mode. This allows you to tilt the gimbal down and then use the joystick to turn the camera around to get that vortex mode. This is also called the barrel movement, and you can do this either to the left or to the right. To exit the vortex mode, just press the trigger 2 times and now you're back in pan follow mode. Mode number 7 and the last mode of this gimbal is the selfie mode. And this mode explains itself, and you enter the selfie mode by pressing the trigger 3 times. This turns the camera around facing you, and now you can do all the vlogging that you want. And when it turns around in selfie mode, it stays in the pan follow mode. So this is really great if you're going to walk and talk to the camera at the same time. To exit the selfie mode, you just press the trigger 3 times once again. And now you're back in the normal standard mode. Like I said in my last video, the reason that I got the Zhiyun Weebill S instead of the DJI Ronin SC is, first of all, I had a bad experience with the DJI Ronin SC. The second reason is that the tripod or grip that you have on the bottom of the gimbal, you can take this off and put it on the side of the gimbal. Like that. When you put the tripod or grip on this side of the gimbal, you have this lock button here. This is really important to turn on and then twist the gimbal a little bit so here it locks in. This is so you're not filming, holding the gimbal, and then suddenly the gimbal turns around or this screws off. What's really nice about having this grip is that you can just go into underslung mode like this, and now you have a handle holding the gimbal like a bag or something. And this is so much easier than holding the gimbal like this. This is so much heavier. Now you have something that you're just holding like a bag. And this is not that heavy on your shoulders, wrists and hands. And this opens up a real bunch of opportunities to get real special footage. So my conclusion on this Weebill S is, for this week that I have been trying it out, I've tried it out every day for this week, tried out different things, and I must say I'm really happy with it. It's really easy to use, it's easy to get this balanced with the camera. When you auto-tune the motors to your camera, it feels like butter. I don't think this comes with a weight limit, but I know that the Canon EOS R with a big RF lens works with this gimbal, so I am not afraid to use my Canon M6 Mark II on it. And if I get a heavier camera later on, I know that this gimbal will probably handle that camera. So the usage of the gimbal, the easy way to maneuver into the different modes, the smooth footage that it provides, the small compact size of it, how easy it is to get into the underslung mode by changing the grip from the bottom to the side here. All this together, I must say this gimbal totally delivers beyond my expectations of this gimbal. So I'm really happy with buying this gimbal, and in my experience I can really recommend this gimbal if any of you out there are thinking about getting a gimbal for your camera. So that's the video for this week. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That would really help my channel and this video a lot. If you're new to my channel and you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, please feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. That would really be appreciated. We are getting closer to 1,000 subscribers, which is a milestone here on YouTube. And if you feel like you want to watch more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. And like I said, I don't know if it was in my last video or the video before, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. I won't be giving away my Canon M6 Mark II, but I will be doing a giveaway on an accessory to the Canon M6 Mark II. So if you have the Canon M6 Mark II and you want to see that video, please share this video to someone that might enjoy it, someone that might get something out of it. And again, please hit that subscribe button. That would really be appreciated. So, thank you for watching. Maybe I will see you in another video. Bye.